This is Doc Ock coming to you live and direct from Black Facts Central. Hope everybody's doing really fine. We're just making it from day to day over here, doing our best to keep you ahead of the crest. That's right, because we don't want you to be caught up like all the rest. Now let's see. African proverb today. I had a good one here a minute ago. Let's see if I can find it again. Dang. I had one here about an ant. Where'd that one about the ant go? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's right in here somewhere. Okay, well, he who avoids the stinging ant he who avoids the white ant may end up running into the stinging ant. That is the proverb, but I believe that one is from Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not seeing it here right now, but I believe that's where that's from. So let's take it at that and move along. Yep, because I'm sure I'm not finding it here again. I don't know why I see it all the time, except when I need it. All right, that's how it goes sometimes. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's see what we got here, because it's time for us to do a little dance. Take a little chance, do a little dance, get down tonight. Get down tonight. Okay, let's see. Oh, now this one I got here. I haven't read this one before. I know I haven't read this one. This one is about a freedom fighter from a different place. He's not an African freedom fighter, but he was important back in the 70s, and he's still important now. In fact, they've named a whole city after him. And his name, now he was small in stature, but he was a great man, but he was very small in stature. And his name is Ho Chi Minh. And that's the name of the poem, Ho Chi Minh. He stood and looked upon the earth, his weapons in his hand. His eyesight came to rest upon an ancient little man. Tilling soil and casting nets, oh, let me not forget, I almost did not put my glasses on, and that would not be a very good bet, because that'll only make it hard for me to read what I am supposed to see right here on this page as I take it to the stage. His eyesight came to rest upon an ancient little man, tilling the soil and casting nets, his flock and herds to tend. Yet ready at a moment's call, his homeland to defend, he walked into the other's land, an uninvited guest. He said, I'm here to rid you of a menace and a pest. He said, I'll build an army base right here upon your shores, and I'll protect you from your sons and from the guy next door. The old man answered with a snap, I need no help from you. Why, you're the same one that I fought at Dim Bin Phu. My sons are out upon the fields, their country to regain. So why don't you just go back home and save us both some pain? He said, oh man, are you insane? Do you know who I am? Why, I'm the policeman of the world, and they call me Uncle Sam. The old man took his weapon up, and with a real defiant stand, he said, yes, I know you and what you'll do, but you see, I just don't give a damn. He said, where did this little man get the audacity to take up a weapon in his hand and speak like that to me? I'll send my helicopters out to hunt the peasant down. I'll send my jets and my tanks to burn his villages to the ground. The old man looked up at this fool and did not even bat an eye. He said, before we would submit, you see, we all would rather die. But I feel it fair that I should warn you, for your sake, this here will be the biggest blunder that you'll ever make. The bully, now blushing red, let out a battle cry. The old man just seemed to fade away into the countryside. He smiled and said with confidence, I've got him on the run. But punji sticks and booby traps set fire to his buns. The old man fought so hard and well that, so the story goes, he trapped him a paper tiger and filled his hide with holes. And as the pain intensified, he cried out loud and clear, if I could just get untangled, y'all, I'm getting on out of here. You see, I just could not win against Ho Chi Minh. No, I just could not win against Ho Chi Minh. Now, those of you who are my age or older, y'all know exactly what we're talking about there. Ho Chi Minh. They had the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and I'll tell you what, don't take my word for anything about it. Look it up. Google it. Ho Chi Minh Trail. That's H-O, first word, Chin, C-H-I-N, Ho Chi, C-H-I, Minh, M-I-N-H. So just Google that, see what you get. Yeah. And then you let me know what you find. Meanwhile, no, you know what? I'm keeping them on for now. Meanwhile, we're moving on to the story of Mekatilili wa Menza. Mekatilili wa Menza of Kenya. Let's see what's happening with her today. Her and her father have walked all the way to the coastal seaport from their Kaida-Giriama. They've walked from Kaida-Giriama all the way to Mombassa, the coastal seaport. So they're on the east coast of Africa. The first thing she heard in the morning was a long, loud, wailing voice of a man singing. It was still dark, but she could not ignore his voice, a sonorous voice, deep and smooth. It penetrated all the walls and all the rooms and fell even into her own soul. It was the call to the faithful of Islam for their morning prayers. Mekatilili could not wait to walk all over the town to see everything. As soon as her father was up, she dragged him out into the streets. There was so much to see. Mombasa was beautiful. The homes were white with roofs of palm leaves. Some of the houses were tall with rooms on top of other rooms. Mekatilili wondered how the people got up to those rooms. And from these high rooms, there were balconies made of wooden beams jutting out above the street. People were sitting and standing up there and looking out at the town. Papa, what is that strange house? She asked, pointing to a large white building with a tall pointed tower. That is a mosque, my daughter. That is where the people here go when they want to talk to their God, replied her father. Did you hear that song this morning before the sun was up? Yes, I did. It was beautiful. Well, that was the song from the mosque calling the faithful to worship their God, explained her father. The minaret of the mosque was pure white, tall and pointed, and towered above all the houses of the town. In front of the building, there were many men mingling around, wearing kanzu, long white robes and white caps on their heads, talking together in low tones. There were people everywhere. Mekatilili had heard for years about the different kinds of people that lived on the coast. And now she could see them for herself. There were brown-skinned men with big, colorful turbans wrapped around their heads. These were men from India. The Indian women wore delicate dresses and shawls laced with gold, worn over long trousers of the same colors. And there were black men in shukas, short skirts made of colorful cloths around their waist. These were the Waswahili. The Waswahili women had colorful kangas wrapped around their heads, which seemed always to be flying in the wind. There were Arabs, light-skinned men in kanzu. Mekatilili saw a couple of Arab women walking through the streets, covered from head to toe in bui, long black dresses and shawls covering their faces so that she could only see their eyes. And there were a few white people. These were Europeans, which Mekatilili learned much later were missionaries come to teach people about their religion. As they walked through the narrow streets, Mekatilili turned to see everything. Papa, look at those big cockroaches, cried Mekatilili. Pulling her father towards an Arab merchant with a big basket full of things, Menza laughed out loud. Meki, those are dates. They are a very sweet fruit. He explained, I think we should try some. They walked up to the date merchant, and Menza made a fast transaction in Kiswahili. He gave the merchant a handful of millet in exchange. Said Mekatilili as she tasted the first bite. This is wonderful. I'm glad you like it. So do I, replied her father, popping one of the small sweet fruits into his mouth. Papa, why don't we have these at home? Well, they don't grow in our home, explained her father. They were brought from Arabia on one of those big dhows you see anchored over there. Menza pointed to some big wooden ships anchored just off the dock in the deeper water. Where is Arabia, Papa? Asked Mekatilili. Across the big ocean, my daughter, many days' journey away. Oh, can we go? Asked Mekatilili with delight. Maybe some other time, answered her father with a smile. They were now walking by the edge of the dock, near several mashua, small dhows used for fishing just off the coast. They had tall masts in the center to hold their sails. Mekatilili watched some fishermen unloading huge piles of fish, all yelling. Some were even throwing the fish to each other. These fishermen had gone out early in the morning, caught fish, and now brought them back in the middle of the day to sell. Father and daughter were now near a large ocean-going dhow. Mekatilili looked up at the mast, standing in the middle of the boat like a huge tree. It reached far up into the sky. The sail was furled at the foot of the mast, and ropes were strewn around everywhere. On the deck, the dhow was bigger than any house Mekatilili had ever seen, so big it could hold a whole village. Several sailors were running here and there, throwing ropes around and yelling at each other. They wore shukas of bright colors that reached down to their knees. One of them was climbing up the mast on a small rope ladder. Mekatilili wanted to get into one of those dhows and sail far away to new lands. But then she remembered the story she had heard of the slave trade. Oh, no. The only way she could go was as a slave. Well, she had no intention of becoming a slave to anyone, let alone for the sake of riding in a boat. Menza turned around and took his daughter's hand to lead her towards a cluster of shops in the center of town. He knew some of the merchants there and intended to do business with them. They turned into one of the narrow streets, darkened by tall buildings on both sides. As they walked, Mekatilili looked up at the upper story and saw Indian women standing on the balconies of the houses, looking down at the street. She wanted to go up there. Menza headed for a certain shop where he normally sold his goods. This shop belonged to an Indian merchant. After a brief exchange, Menza unpacked his grains, and the trader looked them over. This millet is not good enough, the merchant said scornfully. I cannot sell it anywhere, my friend. What do you mean? This is the best there is, retorted Menza. What else do you have? Replied the merchant. I also have maize for you, answered Menza, half laughing. He knew the man's tricks. The merchant would never admit that his grains were good, but Menza knew that he liked them. I will take these things today, but next time you must bring better quality grains, for I will have trouble selling these here. Mekatilili felt angry with the man. What did he mean to say that our grains were no good? He should be grateful. He did not have to walk for a whole day through the dangerous forest to bring these grains. It did not seem fair. After Menza and the trader finally settled on their prices and the merchant paid him, it was time to go. Papa, why did that man say such bad things about our good millet? The girl asked her father when they were walking away. That's the way they do business in the coastal towns, Makey, replied her father. It is their way of getting you to agree to a lower price. Well, they can't do it can't they do it in a nicer fashion? She responded. Yes, I guess they could, Menza laughed. And now, he continued, it is time for us to be the buyer rather than the seller. As they walked down a narrow street, Mekatilili saw a group of Arab men sitting on benches around a low round table. In the middle of the table was a gold coffee pot. The men were sipping black coffee from little glasses and nibbling on some brownish, sugary sweet. Papa, what is that gold pot in the middle of the table there? That is a pot Arabs use to make their coffee. What is coffee? Can we try that? Nah, not now, Makey. They walked along the dock area. There was even more activity than before. All the boats seemed to have people on them, loading things on some boats, unloading things on others. Menza stopped near one big dhow where Arab merchants were shouting orders at sailors who were offloading big packages. Menza watched them intently. "What are you looking at, Papa?" "I think those people over there may have what we're looking for," he replied. "What are we looking for?" asked Mekatilili. "Cloth, good cloth from Arabia. Some for clothes and some to use in the house," said her father. He stood there watching for some time. "Come, let's get some of this cloth," said Menza. The Arabs had already unloaded parcels off their big ocean-going dhow, and they started to settle down and open them. Menza could see this was the beautiful Arabian cloth he was looking for. They moved over to one of the traders who was unwrapping piles of cloth, deep purple, light and translucent, bright red, with intricate designs in the cloth and laced with gold, royal blue, bright yellow, all kinds of colors. "Which one shall we choose for your mother, Makey?" her father asked her. "Oh, that blue one. She would love that blue one," she replied. After some moments of fast bargaining with lots of hand motions, Mekatilili and her father finally walked off with a pile of beautiful cloth. "It's time to prepare for the journey home. We'll sleep and then we'll set off early in the morning," said Menza. "Papa, can we take some of those sweet fruits home too?" asked Mekatilili, pointing to another man selling dates in the street. "Sure, let's go and get some." After gathering a few more interesting things, they got their packages together, retired for the night, and set off back home early in the morning. And that ends our chapter. And our time has ended some time ago. Actually, went a little over time today, but that's okay. Maybe we'll do it a little less tomorrow. We'll see. The chapters are just almost a little bit too long, but they're really close to what we usually like to do. So in the meanwhile, I want you to go forward in peace and justice with a smile for a while. Always make sure to do it in style. Show who you are and show what you know. Show who you are and show what you know. Okay? Look the part. If you feel like a king or you feel like a queen, look the part. Regal, strong, and intelligent. Meanwhile, we'll be back here tonight at 9. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing off. We'll see you next time with a brand new rhyme. Peace out, y'all.